Hello everyone, welcome back again to my channel. This is .NET Maui series, and already we implement actually the list, how we can bind the list. So in this session we'll learn how we can navigate that list to detail page, and how we'll handle that navigation via the URI based navigation, as well as that all the object pass, how we can pass the object via the list page to detail page. So if you see, let's get the demo. So see, when you click on this list page, so I'll get I navigate to our details page, and this detail page populate all the data, whatever that list, whatever item we saw in the list. So also there is a, we'll learn how we can back to navigation is already is there, but we have to know like how we can forcefully to back to our main page. So this also we have so let's start it. So before proceeding, if you don't know how we can do that, so I'm especially recommend before proceeding this session, so go to my this video. Okay, this is that, let me zoom in. So let me zoom in, and this is that one, that session where actually I create a project, and then how we can bind and how we can use MVVM for advanced version actually. So that one had done. So let's start. Open Visual Studio with your with our whatever last sample, last project we have done. So I will take same example so that we can continue. Okay, so see, it's already done, everything is completed, like the list binding is completed over here. Okay, so now what need to do, we have to actually navigate to that list page to see, this is our main page. Okay, so this is main page, this is binding our list. So after binding, what we can do, we have to navigate to this list to our detail page. So what need to do, just create another page of detail page. So right click on that, and also we can create a folder, let's call as views, so that we can set it all the views over there. Just rename views. Can now create a page, list detail page. So let's create a new item, and go to this section .NET Maui, and you able to see the many template over here. So let's choose the XAML part, a XAML content page, and also just rename it blog details page. Now it is created. Now it is sample of that XAML, but we'll implement whatever our design we saw in the demo, like image and then details, and also that button, go back button. So what need to do next, we have to create view model as well for this page, because we are not trying to bind our data over code behind file. We are trying to using actually the latest MVVM features. So what we need to do, we have to create actually the MVVM class. So just create another class of that, like blog detail detail view. Okay, let's call it to that. Okay, now model is created. Just inherit the base model, which is this, because in this base model we using that observable object, which is coming from community kit MVVM component model. So let's do that similar fashion. Base base what was the name, base component, base view model. Okay, that is done. Now what need to do? We actually we will first check, like, navigation by URI base. So how we can pass that URI to here, model view page. Okay, so see, like here, what need to do, we have to call one method, okay, one command, so that that command call to our XAML page, and then XAML page call to uh, navigate to here. So first create a one method, one command method. So let's create that method. Okay, let's create that method, like private async and void, call it to go to details. Okay, details till, and just pass it to our blog. Okay, blog object. So let's pass to blog object. Now what need to do, now here I need to call the another page, navigate, actually the concept of navigation in the .NET MIUI. So how we can achieve that? Already we using AppShell in this .NET MIUI. Actually it is a default format. See, a default feature of that AppShell. So let's call that AppShell. So await shell dot current, let's call a current object, and then call it to go async. Okay, and this go async, actually there is a the four overload method. First is like shall navigate state. So whatever your page, so just you can pass as a as a object shell navigation state, and then you can pass as a parameter as well. And there is another overload method is contain that animated. Also see, animated means, see, if you want to animate or not, that open your page. Then third one is like, see, you can pass your page navigation state page, and as well as like whatever object. So as a dictionary you can pass it that. Okay, so similar kind of another last message is animation with object. So we'll do one by one everything, don't worry about that. So first what we'll do, we'll call our blog page. Okay, blog detail page. So what is the name of that page? Let's call that dollar interpolation. Okay, just call the interpolation and just bind like that. Okay, and name of, so that exact page name you can call it. So what is our page name? So detail blog detail page. So just copy that page name. Okay, might be that is not reference there, that's why it's not calling. So okay, this is the page name, so call it this, and go back to model, call it, and just bring the namespace. Okay, yes, it's done. Then what need to do, you have to pass first we'll achieve that URI, and how we can pass the URI based navigation. So is need to pass URI, so just question mark, so that I can pass as a query string parameter. So let's name whatever name, so I just pass as the ID, and then whatever ID uh, we have to pass over there. So let's send it to this from here, because we have a object of blog over here. So this blog actually contain all the ID, name, everything. So whatever things you want to pass, just pass it over here, blog dot ID. Okay, whatever things you pass, just you can mention over. So this is done for here. Okay, so let set the attribute, so that our XAML, in a XAML we can call this as a command. Okay, so how we can do that, already we have done, like we can use that relay command attribute, just pass it here, let it is done. Okay, and what need to do the next, we have to call this command to our main page, main XML page in the list. So how we can do that? We need to that. So let's just frame it. So it is done. So see, this is grid. Inside grid, actually we call our uh, we have to frame, so our page binding, our image is there, and then we call our label, whatever the blog is label. So we need to put, we can put inside stack layout, or outside also. So that is up to you. So what we can do, we can just copy somewhere a demo object, okay, and we can after grid, okay, so this is grid done, okay, and inside the frame we have to pass over there. So let's understand what is that command, actually how we can call that command. So it is simple, like I use a frame get recognizer, okay, because see why I'm calling direct command to like this way, because this command inside and the grid and the inside of the template, okay, that's why we can't call that view model method directly like this way. So that's why I call, there is another way. If you using inside of the grid or inside the template, so you can call that one. So what you need to do, you can just call frame dot get recognizer, and then is another attribute of tag get resource organizer recognizer, and then call it command, then bind, then source, and source is what, relative source, and ancestor type, and then we have to call our model, okay, whatever model we have to bind. Okay, so what is the model, our bm dot bm main view model, okay, this main view model, and this main view model, what we have this method, okay, go to detail command, okay, because we already created, just we have created like go to detail command. Also you can make sure like what is the exact name of this go to detail command. What you need to do, go to dependency, go to android, and go to analyzer, and generation, go to source generation, uh, not this one, yes, community tool source generation, and here you will see like our things is observable object, not this one. We have used that command one, so command have as a different uh, different one. So see, this is observable property, this is observable property, this is I registered, this is I notified change, this is relay command. So see this one, whatever you set the attribute based on this, it will generate a command, okay. So see, this is our go to details, and then you will see what is the name, exact name. So if you go to last, so this is go detail, it is our method name, but what is the exact name of that? See, go detail command. So same name you can just copy and go to your XAML page, okay, and go to your XAML page, main.xml page, and just pass it to here, okay, that's it. And then command parameter is bind dot, that means I want to pass whole the object, okay, in this method, okay, here in this method we pass actually that whole object, right, of that block. So that's why, just because passes dot, so that I can pass the whole object, okay, that's it. Then in our list we can, when I click, okay, so once I click, so this method will call, this command will fire, and this command will call, that block detail page, okay, and we pass it the parameter, okay. Now we have to go to that detail page, so let's go to that detail code behind page, so that I can call, I can call our, what do you say, I can call our view model, okay. We already implement actually that main XML behind page. See, we call as a view model like this way. So if you don't know about how we can do that, I already explained, so I'm not going to explain once more time. So let's call that. Okay, so how can do that? Just pass inject your view that whatever view model. So this is your view model, call it that, set it the property. Okay, and just create a that create an assign property. Okay, so let's create a property and then assign over it to here. You can make it to private as well, because we don't require to public, because we will call only inside this class. Okay, so that's it. Okay, and then what need to do, we can just already we assign over here, but we not to assign like that way. We have to bind actually our db context, so that whatever db context coming in this view model, so it can be bind. So binding db context, not db context, it's context, binding context, and then assign it to whatever your view model. Okay, so that's fine, that is sufficient. And one more thing we have to do, once it's completed, then you have to go to your blog detail view detail page, so go to that one. Okay, and then whatever we pass, okay, so I pass as a query parameter. Okay, so how we can get this query parameter in this view model, so that is important. So that is a important, and also how we can do that, that you have to know. So there is a one mechanism, like call the attribute. Okay, the attribute call name is query property. In this query property, we have to pass two things, like see, name and query id, whatever id and name. So I just call whatever name I want to call over here. Just okay, before to that, I think first we have to add that property over here. Okay, so that property, so that we can bind. So how we can do that, we already in main.view model. So let's call int make a private id. Okay, set attribute as a observable property. So let's observable property. Okay, yes, that is done. And then same thing, you have to just specify over here name of id, not id. It is actually, once you, if you create this id, so it will actually create it in our code generation file with this public field. Okay, so that public field we have to use. So what is that public field name? By default it will call by the id, then we have to pass that name, whatever query id. So whatever query id we have passed, we pass like that, then close that bracket. That's it. And also when I call this one to in our code behind file, so we have to make sure we have to make it that public, that partial class. Okay, so that we can use this class to anywhere. Okay, so that is done. So what is the flow? Like let me recap one more time. So first, your list page. Okay, that list page we bind your command. Okay, in this view model command, go to that command and pass it to the whole object. Okay, once I click over here, when I say click, or when I can tab, so this will call a method. Okay, this method, and this go to detail page, go to detail command. So this will call, and this will call, and then it will fire, and it will call actually navigate to our blog detail page. So where is our blog detail page? This will call, and this already we have bind our view model, and it will actually bind the context in this detail page. And then once it's completed, it will go to blog.view model, and here you will get this property over here. Okay, so this is actually flow. And let me show this id in our XAML page. So first we have to make sure like our ID is reaching over there or not. Okay, so go to blog detail page. Okay, and just to label, okay, so just to label I have to bind. Okay, so that model. Okay, so how we can call this model? So very simple. Again, you have to call XAML x, not x because it's already x, so it is called like view model, like so bm, then it's called bm, so its name is .NET Mayu. There's view model, so this is your view model. Call this view model. Okay, this is bm. Then what you have to do, you have to specify a type. So how we can do that? X data type, and then bm, and bm, which one we have to call? We have to call detail model view page. Okay, so this is done. So our view model page is view model is there, and then we can just use that binding. Okay, and binding and then id. Okay, so let me check. Okay, before to that, do that. Okay, so everything implementation is done, URI based navigation, but we have to do something else, like whatever we created page and view model, we have to register, or we have to resolve our dependency over here mayu.program.c as well. So inside the view model, just uh, whatever created new view model, just register over here. Build dot, how we can do that? This is a very simple. Add singleton. Okay, and then call it to our view model. What is the view model call name? Blog detail view model. Okay, so this is done. Also you have to register the page. Builder dot services dot add singleton, and then whatever our page name, it is blog details page. Okay, that is done. Okay, one more thing we have to do that, okay, which is very important. So what if we trying to any page to navigation, so we have to register also that page. So where we can do that? Go to AppShell behind the class. Okay, here actually you have to register that things. So how we can do that? So let me do that like okay, so you have to call router. Okay, routing, to routing dot register route. Okay, this method actually register your whatever you using navigation property. So name of your page name, so that blog detail detail. Yes, it is details. Let's bring the namespace as well. Is the next column? It is details. Sorry. So it's details. Bring space. Okay. Then call it to factory. Okay. So the name, same name, you can just pass it to type of type of type of as a factory. So this blog, that's it. That's it. Now let me run, check is working, build it, make sure like there is no any compilation error. Okay, there is a one error, so let me fix it. Somewhere is saying using, okay, I think this is using my old emulator, so let's close that one. It's clean solution. Okay, finally it's deployed successfully. and now it's running. And also, okay, previously we some debugger, so remove the debugger, remove the debugger, run. See, as expected, our list is there. Okay, now once I click this navigation to our block detail bus, but it is 0. Okay, that is expecting, because if I show you the debugging mode, we can understand, okay, why it's 0. So first I'll explain, like, see, this is our fake data. Okay, but here we pass only name, description, image, URL, but there is no ID parameter, so that's why it is 0. Okay, so let me debug so that can better understand. First you have to go view model. Let's put debugger point over here, and yes, now run time, go back, click over here. So see, there is there, and now you will see that object, everything is there, but ID is 0. That's why it's passing ID as 0. It is call this page, and this page, once you call that view model, so it will storing actually 0. That's why. Okay, so let me put debugger. We can't put debugger point over here, so that's why. Okay, let me fix it. Okay, how we can fix it? Let me close the application and just update ID. So let's ID 1. Same thing we have to. It's build succeed, but it's still trying to deploy. Okay, so see, it's deploy done. Okay, succeed. Now open app. My app name is this actually .NET my. Then .NET all future. See, when you click, see, 2 is there. Means whatever ID we are getting here is there. So based on ID, what we can do, we can call our service, and the service can retrieve data over here. Okay, so let me do that part. Okay, this video can be little bit long because I am doing everything from scratch, and one by one, deep dive, so it could be a long, so don't worry about that, because we are trying to run, so definitely we have to some time. So what need to do, we have to create one more service, is one more and method, because last time we created only for get all blocks. So this time we'll call, we have to implement that public async task. Okay, what we want to return, we want log. So whatever get log id. Okay, it to pass it to id, so that whatever id I pass, based on this I can return the data. Here will get the data, and this data will coming here. Log here, can filter over here, then f equal to f dot id. It should be written the first and default. Okay, done. Await. So block list and default. I think it is not a sync method, so that's why it's complaining me. So remove that await. Okay. So once you real time it call, so that time definitely your method will async actually. So this is not async method, this is just simple list. So that's why what we can do is a async as well, but yeah, for the demo perspective it's fine. Okay, so this is done. And declare the signature as well in your repository, not repository, your service. Okay, so this is done. This is done means your service layer is done. Then what need to do, you have to call that one over here. Okay, so how we can do that, just create, okay, just inject that service over here. Okay, how we can do that, just create that constructor of that view model and call it to block service, then call it to block service, make it to private variable. Okay, so now once you call your initiate and inject your block service, definitely all method you will get over here. And now what you need to do, you can create, one more property so that you can bind your UI in that details, block detail page. So what we will do, just log, okay, bind log, call it to block. That's it. Just make it private and call it to here, bring the namespace as well as just set this attribute so that it will handle everything iNotifier and the update everything, just whatever update things, so it automatically it will binding the data. So that's it. Now what need to do, you have to create a one more method, okay, so that we can uh, we can just call this method to on navigation once your page is navigated. So how we can do that, just create a public method async task, just call is load log data y id async, then just call it to your method. That's it. Dot get log id, this is that method, pass it to block id would be this. Okay, so like that, but whatever we get id from the query parameter we have to pass over here. So we have to pass like that and just a it that's it. Okay, this is done for detail block detail view model. Okay, now this one to call here block detail with the code behind file, like how we can do that, similar fashion we have to do, which we have done in our main dot page. So override on navigation, there is on navigation, so that once navigate our page, so this will fire. Actually there's just some life cycle of this page. So on navigate or navigation, yeah, on navigation 2, then call that method, like from your view model dot load async data. That's it. Okay, and now the final step is pending. We have to design our HTML, so leave it that one, because or just keep it so that whatever id we are getting we can check it. Okay, so let me get some design and how we can bind, I'll explain you. So what need to do, we first actually create some vertical view. Let me copy actually design, because I don't write in a design. So that part, okay, so it is mess up that, keep it that one, so just remove it. Okay, why it's complaining, because we can't create two stay or two vertical layout. Okay, so just remove that. Okay, already we call as a BM. Okay, so that BM call, then just see this blog. Okay, so this blog also we have not called this blog. Okay, that already we using in our there, so that's why it's automatically appearing over here. Okay, in our model view. So this is that blog actually. So if you go to the code generation file, so you will see that the name, actual name of the blog. So this is that. And okay, so okay, no, this is not correct actually. So what need to do, we have to, this is returning that block. So what we need to do, we have to bind assigning to blocks. So that's why it will bind actually our data. So see, this is that final step which I forget. Okay, so once I bind over here, then I will able to see that block data over here, and we can easily just bind stuff like this. Okay, so how, what I'm doing over here, let me explain. I create a scroll view and then a stack layout. Inside the stack layout, I call as a grid, and this grid I define in a column and column definition and row definition, and then I call a box view. And in this box view, I just set is some design so that our image can appearing over here. Okay, so for that box view, I just want to show some, some images under the inside the box. So that's why I doing like that. Okay, this is box, and then I put some first label where I can pass in the title. We want to set a title and subtitle. So what is the title? Title is just font size is title, name and description, and that's it. Now finally I call one more button, that is, that will be, revert to our main page. Okay, so that is also need to create this command. So how we can do that, how we can create that command, let go in view page. Okay, then create that command. Is the command async task go back. So if you create a go back, so it will generating go back command. Okay, just set it to that I relay attribute, because I am creating a command. So I relay. Okay, let me call bring some other ones. Call here, state over here. Okay, so that is done. Simply what need to do, you have to call same things, shell dot current and dot go to async, where you have to navigate. So there is again, I already explained, but yeah, this is I want to navigate in our root folder. So where I need to navigate, I navigate to our root. So you can pass it like that. There's also you can give that, absolute path as well, like where you have to pass. So if you want to go like root folder and some other pages, so you can just fill it your name, and then also you can just mention, okay, not a, you know not a root folder, it's inside the root another root folder, and then you have to go to there. So you can just specify your path. And there's another way you can directly call your page name as well. So that is enough. So yeah, I will call over here. So, okay, this is done. I think this is sufficient. Let me build. So click anyone. Now see, whatever I binding our data, so that is getting data from that service, and this is assigning that model, that whatever property we have assigned, and then finally is showing the data. And also if you click the go back, so it will go back on another one. See, go back entity framework, go back. So it is working expected. Okay, so let me debug so that we can check how this is working. So close one more. and let run our application in the debugging mode, so that we can, we can explain, we can understand like how it's working actually. So let me debug in point first. Okay, here also, uh, here also, so that our data is coming, storing, and so that we can make sure like whatever route parameter we passing that came and then fetch the data, show over it. Okay, so this is one, and when view model, yeah, it's already is there. Okay. So let me, I think it's running. So click my u. See, once I click this one, so this command is fire, and this command getting all the data like it's 2, passing is 2, continue. Once you click, so see that page actually call, that view model is called. Okay, view model, sorry, block details view model is called, and here see whatever route parameter you pass, so that is just binding as a 2, and based on this, if you go to inside implementation, so just based on this id, it will filter and return to back, and it is assigning to this block, observable property. Okay, and once it will binding, then it will go to our YAML page, and here already we have mentioned our um, block observable property, and this will actually bind over here. And also just call this command, go back to command method. Okay, not here, go to command. Okay, just continue for this, and then once you go back, it will call go back command, and it will, AppShell actually revert back to your main page. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so next, okay, so next session will come, actually it will take more, it will take more time. That's why I'm just splitting this navigation part 2 in 2 session. So next session will come. Okay, once I click any, and once I tab any of list, so I'll just pass not route id, means URI base, we are not passing actually that id, query as a query parameter, be passing the object. How we can do that, I'll explain you, and I will learn. Okay, so till now, thank you thank you everyone, have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like.